Hi guys, it's James here. Welcome to another video. Something a little bit different for you today. I'm going to be running through the build I recently completed for the Airfix Supermarine Spitfire FR Mark 14. This kit was very kindly sent to me by Airfix directly at the end of May, shortly before it became publicly available, and I'm pleased to say it's complete and the kit is really impressive. So let's have a look through and see what's inside. So this new Spitfire kit by Airfix is just that. It's brand new, absolutely first-rate mould, and you can see here some of the recessed panel lines on the wing section. It's really impressive. There's lots of potential for weathering, which you'll see a bit later on in the build. As daft as it might sound, construction started with, first of all, reading the instructions. You really need to pay attention to these things, especially building planes. You need to build them from the inside out, starting with the cockpit before you go onto the main fuselage and the wing sections. So let's have a look and get working on it. And we're off. Now I have to say this is the first non-naval warship kit I've built for many years, so it's going to be a bit different in terms of build process for me, and started off with cutting bits off the sprue, and this is part of the cockpit coming together. So painted it with Tamiya cockpit green, and then applied a bit of silver, a bit of aluminium mix, and then used Citadel wash. This is the Agrax Earth shade to apply some of the raised panel lines here. If you add a little bit and thin it down maybe if you really want to, but you don't need to necessarily. But work your way through all the details and then you can get some nice shadow effects. I then moved over to the cockpit, so this is part of the dashboard with all the dials and whatnot. So I painted it in terms of NATO black and the cockpit green, and then applied a very gentle dry brush using metallic silver. For the raised bars here, I've already weathered them with the Agrax Earth shade, but I used a bit of Citadel Goblin green, sort of very bright green you can see here, a bit speeded up, but with dry brushing you can really get some of those lovely edges and pull out all the gorgeous detail. Next up, some of the smaller detail pieces of the cockpit get painted first and then dry brushed in exactly the same way. You can see some of them here. To spruce up the dashboard, I added a bit of red Citadel paint here, you can see, to add a few buttons, and also on the interior of the cockpit before fixing these smaller dry brush pieces pre-painted in place. And here's the now complete walls of the cockpit all ready for installation. Once the dashboard was dry, I gave it a coat of clear varnish before applying the decals. These decals come with the kit absolutely first rate, though I did use the Microsol and Microset decal affixing solution. Now it's for a bit more assembly, so the dashboard goes onto the side of the cockpit walls together with the flight controls, pedals and steering rod before fixing the other half. But let's not forget that very important piece, the seat of the cockpit. next it's time to stick the cockpit into one of the fuselage halves. It's a bit different for me, I have to say. I haven't built a plane for about 15 years, and I do find it quite annoying that the fact that you can't really see any of the cockpit inside at all once you seal this up. But that's not just a product of building this Airfix kit, it's all planes in general. But let me know what you think. Anyway, moving on. Construction continued as per the instructions. I did use a bit of sellotape, as you can see here, to fix the two halves of the wings together and let them dry before applying all the various bits of details on the bottom section here. That done, step 38, as you see here, is a very important step in the kit, and they do include a KitKat, so it's very important to take a break. So once I finished with KitKat, I carried on, and after another hour or so the kit was starting to look like a proper Spitfire. So I thought I'd leave it here, let it dry for a couple of days in the summer sunshine, and then come back to it before starting the base coat. For the base coat I used Tamiya semi-gloss black. So once the semi-gloss black was dry, I gave it everything a coat of Vallejo Model Air aluminium paint, let that dry for another 24 hours, and then gave it a gloss coat before moving on to the fun part. I used Flooring Models Dark Dirt Wash that you can see here. So this is exactly the same process that I've used, funny enough, for a Star Destroyer of all things. You give everything a good liberal coat all over the kit, leave it to dry for about 15 minutes, and then wipe it off. It's pretty simple. To get the wash off, I put a couple of drops of water on a piece of kitchen tissue and then proceeded to wipe away. The water in the clay then rehydrates, so you're going to be able to get it back to life and scrape it off. But all you need to do is literally wipe it off. All those panel lines are not something that I've painted on, that's just what's left after you remove the dirt. Absolutely first-rate product. We've had some glorious sunny afternoons here in southeast England recently, so once the dry dirt was all off, I gave the entire kit a coat of Tamiya Clear and then proceeded to put on all the decals. Again, the decals are absolutely amazing by Airfix, you have to be commended on that, and I really think it's starting to look like a proper ship now. Along with myself, a few other model making YouTube channels were also sent a preview kit by Airfix. I'll put their channel links in the description below. So having a bit of a group build on YouTube, which is a little bit tricky, but a few of us have put the video together now, so it'll be interesting to have a look at comparing and contrast to see how it works. So in summary then, I think if you've never built a Spitfire, or if you really like building lots of Spitfires because you don't see an awful lot of silver ones, I highly recommend getting this kit. The plastic is a little bit thick in places, does need a bit of gentle cutting and sanding away from the sprue, but overall it's an absolutely first-rate product. Just take your time, give it a bit of love, and you will end up with an absolutely first-rate, possibly better than mine, version of the Supermarine Spitfire. And you get a free KitKat. So thanks for watching, please consider subscribing if you haven't already, and until next time, take care, bye bye!